If you've got a new episode of low back pain, then we understand it can be quite worrying and quite concerning. Not only that, it can be difficult to know where to start in terms of trying to get better. So in today's video, we're going to give you Genuine Physio's top 6 tips in how to manage an acute episode of low back pain, and make sure you stay tuned until the end, where we're going to give you a little bit of advice to try and give you some pain relief quickly. Hello, it's Luke here from Genuine Physio, where we bring you honest, evidence-based information and education to get you guys back on the road to recovery. If you're new around here, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our videos, and if you like what you see, a thumbs up is always very much appreciated. We like to keep things interactive, so drop a comment below and give us ideas for future content or feedback on the videos, and come and say hi on all the main social media platforms. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and you'll also be able to find some useful links in the description below and everything we talk about in today's topic. With all that out of the way, let's get going. Now, we know back pain is exceptionally common. It happens between 80 and 90% of us during our lifetime. It's often referred to as the common cold of the spine, just because so many people go to their doctors with it during the year. The single most important thing that we need to do if you have a new onset of low back pain is rule out anything serious or sinister. Now, we do that by going through a series of red flag questions, and you'll be pleased to know we have done a video covering those that you can find in the description below. Once we've done that, then we can start talking about how we can treat it and manage it a little bit better. So let's go for it. Let's talk about our 6 top tips to help you manage your acute low back pain. The first tip is time. We need to allow our body's time to recover. Unfortunately, they're not machines. We can't just push a button and the pain goes away. Having said that, our bodies are incredible structures that repair themselves all of the time. Scientists reckon we have 37.2 trillion cells in our body, and 70 billion of those die each day and 70 billion repair themselves each day. All that happens if we have an injury is that process just gets sped up. The tissue healing process is made up of a number of different stages, with inflammation lasting up to 14 days in some people, and the latter stages lasting even up to 1 or 2 years. That doesn't mean, however, that you should be in pain. Just like this scar on my hand here, I think I did that about 2 or 3 months ago. It's not painful, but there's still some tissue healing going on. The positive news, guys, is the research suggests that 90% of people that have an acute onset of low back pain recover after 6 weeks. Now, there's no doubt that it's very easy to get impatient and frustrated when things don't get better as quickly as you want them to. And we've all been there. It's not pleasant, but you need to let your body do what it does best, trust it, and give it the time it needs to recover. Tip 2 is try not to worry. Now, I'm sure you're sat there thinking that is easy for you to say. You're not the one in pain. But we've just mentioned that the majority of low back pain episodes will get better by themselves. We also know that it's only a very small percentage of people that have low back pain with serious pathology. That said, it's completely normal to be apprehensive and ask questions like, how long is it going to take to get better? Can I bend over? When can I go back to work? They are all completely understandable and completely normal. But we do know that higher levels of anxiety, worry, fear are associated with higher levels of pain and increased prognosis. Ultimately, our minds and our bodies are intrinsically linked, and your mind has quite a significant impact on how much pain you experience. Tip 3 is relative rest. Now, what is relative rest? Well, gone are the days when you go to your doctor with some back pain and they tell you to take to your bed for 6 weeks. We now know that's completely counterproductive and it's not going to get you better very quickly. Relative rest basically means avoiding things that cause flare-ups in your pain or significantly aggravate your pain, but you're safe to do things that bring on tolerable levels of discomfort. Keep watching till the end and you'll find out why. A real bugbear of mine is when you look at back pain information, there is just so much negativity out there. You look on YouTube, you look on social media, and there's so many people telling you shouldn't be doing things, you can't do things, and you're not allowed to do things if you've got back pain. The truth is, there is nothing that you're not allowed to do, there's nothing you can't do, and there is nothing you shouldn't be doing if you've got back pain. How can there be hard and fast rules when we're all so completely different? What might work for somebody might not work for somebody else, and vice versa. On top of that, you should know your bodies very well, and if you've had pain for a week or two, you will know what makes your pain better and what makes it worse. There's no point in stopping bending or stopping going to your yoga class or stop running if they're not making your pain worse. All this is going to do is make you more worried, more fearful, more deconditioned, and it's going to take you longer to get better. So the message is, keep positive and keep moving. And that brings us nicely on to tip number 4, which is exercise. Now, we all know that being generally fit and healthy is likely to decrease our risk of getting back pain. But we also know that trying to do some exercise if you have back pain can also really help. But where on earth do you start? There are literally thousands of resources online claiming to fix or cure your back pain with a specific set of exercises. So what does the evidence say? Well, the evidence says that actually it doesn't really matter what type of exercise you do. You can do some strength training, you can do some cardiovascular exercise, you can do some yoga or Pilates. What the evidence does tell us is that you need to be trying to do something. Now, because we know that most exercise is good for back pain, unlike many, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I've got the best 3 exercises in the world that will fix your pain. But what I will do is touch very briefly on 3 important factors that you might want to consider when picking the right exercises for you. I said I was going to keep things brief, and the reason for that is I'm going to bring out a whole more detailed video on this very topic that will be coming to you very soon. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it, and when it has been completed it will be in the description below. But briefly, consideration 1 you need to think about when picking the right exercise for you is how much pain are you in and what is that pain allowing you to do. Consideration number 2 is function. Is the exercise that you've chosen to do functional for your end goal? What are you hoping to achieve from it? And consideration number 3 is difficulty. If you want to stimulate change in your system, the exercise that you're doing needs to challenge your system. If it's too easy, you'll end up getting better a lot slower. Tip number 5, guys, is pain doesn't necessarily always equal damage. Now, I touched on this in the video I put together on our top 10 back pain myths, which you can see in the description below. And the plan is to bring you a video on this whole topic just because it can be quite a challenge to understand, and for a lot of people it'll be quite a new concept. But it is really important to have a good understanding of this principle because it will definitely get you better quicker. So subscribe to the channel because that will be coming to you very soon. For the purpose of this video, just so you believe me, I'm going to give you 3 specific examples where pain doesn't equal damage, and then we're going to have a quick chat about how that can positively impact your rehab. So example number 1 is, have you ever had a paper cut? They can be really quite painful, but we know there's not much structural damage going on. Example number 2 is, have you ever found a bruise on your leg, on your arm, and you're not quite sure how it got there? Well, a bruise is basically bleeding underneath the skin. So whatever happened, there was enough trauma there to cause some bleeding. So quite a significant structural damage, but there was no pain at all. And example number 3 is, have you ever heard of phantom limb pain? Well, this is the pain that amputees experience in a limb that they've had removed. Now, that was the quickest of quick whistle-stop tours on that topic, but like I said, I'm going to bring you a video on the whole thing very, very soon, so subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. The important thing to discuss is how can that positively impact our rehab. The bottom line is if we know it's safe to move into tolerable levels of discomfort, we can get moving sooner, we can get exercising sooner, and we can get back to what we want to be doing sooner. The only thing that is going to do is get you better quicker. Tip number 6 is medication. And at this stage, it's very important you understand I'm definitely not a doctor, and it's a good idea to have a chat with your doctor about taking any new medication, just in case it conflicts or contradicts with anything that you might already be taking, and to try and ensure that you don't get any horrible side effects. What I'm going to do is refer to the NICE guidelines. NICE stands for the National Institute of Health and Care Excellence, and they're basically an organisation in the UK that put together evidence-based guidelines for many different conditions, including low back pain. Now, I completely understand a lot of people don't like taking medication, and that is absolutely fine if you can do without. But the guidelines do suggest it can be helpful in managing acute low back pain. What they suggest is trying to take the weakest sort of pain relief first, so probably some over-the-counter anti-inflammatories, and if this doesn't work, then go to your doctor and see if they can prescribe you anything slightly stronger. The guidelines do suggest taking the medication as prescribed on the packet, for example 2 every 4 hours, whatever it says on the packet. That way you're likely to see better improvements in your pain and your symptoms rather than taking them as and when you need them. If you have any confusion around this, just talk to your doctor, and I'll put a link to the NICE guidelines in the description below. Now, I promised you at the beginning of the video, if you stay tuned until the end, I'd give you an extra bonus tip to try and help with some quick pain relief. Now, if you haven't already, have a think about trying to get some ice or some heat on the area of your lower back that's sore, because it can really help with short-term pain relief. In terms of ice, if you've got some fancy packs, that's fine, but some frozen veg will do the job just fine. And in terms of heat, a hot water bottle is perfect. There's no right and wrong, it's completely up to you, it's very subjective. Some people prefer heat and some people prefer ice. Do whichever works best for you. Heat tends to be more practical if you want to get it on throughout the day and if you're working. Bear in mind, they are both short-term methods of pain relief, so the more you can do throughout the day, the more you're likely to feel the benefits. If you just do it once or twice a week, it's less likely to help. And that was Genuine Physio's top tips on how to manage an acute onset of low back pain. So just to recap, what you need to do first and foremost is rule out anything serious. Once you've done that, make sure you give yourself enough time to recover. Try not to worry. We know that pain doesn't necessarily equal damage, and with that in mind, we know it's fine and safe to try and move around and exercise within reason. It's also fine to take some medication if you feel like it's appropriate, and try and get some heat or an ice pack on your back to try and help with some short-term pain relief. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you found today's video useful. If you have, then a thumbs up would really help. And if you haven't already, then subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of Genuine Physio's videos. Come and find us on all the main social media platforms, and you should be able to find some useful information in the description below. But before you go, I want to hear from you. Which tip in today's video have you found useful or have you tried? And what other things have you tried to help manage your low back pain? Drop a comment below and let me know. And until next time, I'll see you again very soon.